Start recording. Okay, fine. Test.
So the test is, I'm gonna count down. We're just gonna say something at the same time.
Okay.
3,
Bananas.
2, 1. Bananas.
Sounded pretty good to me.
Okay.
All right. So now we can start the video basically whenever.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
So 3. I'll count down. 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome back to Overruled. Podcast.
Third episode.
This is like my favorite topic, I think.
Yeah, this is probably the most waited for debate. Galaxy 1 versus Galaxy 2. The two games so similar, it can often be really hard to choose a favorite. And I personally, if I weren't having to debate this right now, I don't know if I could actually choose a better game. But I will be arguing for Galaxy 1 today.
I've gone back and forth on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've speedrun both. I've played a lot. But I have gone back and forth.
Absolutely.
For sure. Okay, I could start with my commending of Galaxy 2. So
all right, timer's going.
Galaxy 2 is very similar to the original. It's very similar, and the main advantages it has over Galaxy 1 are a little bit gameplay related and a little bit bonus material. So I think Mario Galaxy, with the addition of Yoshi, as well as the addition of a better two-player mode, like an actual semi-functional two-player mode, that has advantages over Galaxy 2's gameplay. But the main thing I like about Galaxy 2 is its green stars and its very enjoyable endgame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because green stars are a great challenge, and the final level is much better than anything Galaxy 1 had. Because if you're a great Galaxy 1 player, you reach the end, you greeted with purple coins, which was probably the least fun part of the game for me.
Galaxy 2 still has a lot of unfun purple coins in it, to be fair.
Yeah, it does, but it's not just one after the other at the end, all piled at the end. And I like Galaxy 2's purple coins. I think they're usually a little bit shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more, there's I think fewer of them. I could be wrong. Is there another like comet type in Galaxy 2?
There are a lot of unique comet types in Galaxy 2. I don't really know if there's defined types. Galaxy 1 does have a few defined types, but Galaxy 2
is more of a free
form
variation.
Yeah, exactly.
More variation there, which I like.
Yeah. I will agree that the green stars are pretty cool, but I would say that although Galaxy 2 does technically offer more content, the two are already both such long games. I mean, like, the 100% speedrun or like 120 stars, I guess, of Galaxy 1 is already something like 7 or 8 hours. Maybe it's short, maybe it's more like 6. I don't know the exact number, but it's quite a long game to begin with. And so I do feel like Galaxy 1's length is sufficient on its own and is probably better for most people, because I doubt that many people who play Galaxy 2 are actually ever going to get to the green stars. Even though they are nice extra for completionists, I do think that the Galaxy 1's length is not a major downside, and I think the pacing is still pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think Galaxy 1's length is that bad. But I do dislike even the final few galaxies. If you're playing through the game normally, so if you're speedrunning, you can just kind of skip the final, what's it called?
The engine or
not the engine, the garden or whatever.
Garden,
up top. But if you're playing it casually, you'll probably get there, and the garden has like a few of the worst galaxies.
I genuinely like
I know that
Matter Splatter and Melting Molten. I like both of those.
I think Matter Splatter is
speedrunning,
really
not bad, but pretty cool casually.
I just like Matter Splatter as well. I really hate another one in the end game I hate is Dusty Dune. I know you hate that too.
Yeah, that's not in the very last one.
It's not as bad, but I think Galaxy 1 starts off really well, but towards the end, it kind of has trouble, and it has trouble finding good environments. Like stuff like Toy Time. Toy Time's a good Galaxy, but it's incredibly gimmicky, and you feel like you're not really in any sort of like, you're just jumping on these like metal platforms that don't really, and I feel like Galaxy 1 has to rely a little bit more on gimmicks. Galaxy 2, I think, has better environments in general. And the galaxies are shorter, which means if you dislike one, you don't get sick of it as quickly, and you can go on to another.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. First off, I would argue that Galaxy 2 also gets weak over time. World 6 of Galaxy 2, you have Clockwork Ruins, you have like
It's a little bit of grind,
Slimy
yeah.
Spring, a lot of not great galaxies packed to the end there. And so I do feel like, Galaxy may front load all of its really good galaxies, but I think Galaxy 2 does a very similar thing. And also on the atmosphere point, I really like that Galaxy 1's atmosphere is focused on the wonder of space feeling. Galaxies like Good Egg, Space Junk, and like Battle Rock, they all have like such a strong sense of awe that is invoked when you play them. And I think that the music in each of those levels also is masterfully crafted, and it really helps like back them up and have an incredible feeling. And while I would argue that Galaxy 2 does have, a great atmosphere as well, it feels much more like daytime. There are a lot more like light blue environments, which, while still fun, doesn't really have the same emotional impact that the Galaxy 1 space and exploration and, wonder that really, really has.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point. Because when you think about Galaxy 2, I think this is kind of a neutral point actually, because if you think about Galaxy 2, where you start on this grassy place, you start on this bright area. Galaxy 1, you start in this extremely dark, just metal thing floating in space. Right?
Galaxy 2 is a lot brighter on the whole, I would say.
So I don't think either of them is bad though, because I think in Galaxy 2 I can feel myself living on Cloudy Court. I can see myself being on clouds, and like this could be a place on Earth. But Galaxy 1 has these dark themes and these dark galaxies. In space, you're completely isolated, and I really get that feeling in something like Battle Rock, which is unfortunately not a great galaxy in Galaxy 1, but I do get that feeling, like and it kind of depends on just on what you like there, and I kind of prefer Galaxy 2. I think the super darkness and isolation, it creates a good theme, but it makes it for like. It kind of takes away from the level design a little bit.
I don't know 100% about that.
I enjoy the level design in Galaxy 2 because it feels more, realistic and grounded. Because Galaxy 1 did have gravity issues. And the way Galaxy 2 fixed it is by revamping the engine a little bit. As well as keeping Mario on the ground most of the time.
Yeah, maybe. I do think that one really, important aspect of Galaxy 1's darkness is the storybook and how it offers the heart-wrenching story that Rosalina tells during it. Because I know both games do have like the Bowser kidnaps Peach trope, and that does get a little bit old, but Galaxy 1 really adds so many layers of depth with the storybook. It's probably the most emotional moment in any main series Mario game. And I really think that the inclusion of the storybook with its slightly darker theme that fits well with Galaxy 1's slightly sadder, slightly more like meaningful even, overarching theme. I really think that the storybook gives Galaxy 1 that edge as far as just how much you're able to really connect with the game. Like you're really in it and you're experiencing it rather than just kind of playing it like you are with Galaxy 2 a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think, the storybook adds a lot, but not everyone picks up on that. Not everyone even reads the storybook. And while it's an emotional part of the game, it's not like that many, a lot of kids aren't going to pick up on that. And the emotion of that doesn't really tie into the game itself. It seems kind of, it's kind of disjointed a little bit. Because you don't see like Rosalina doesn't have a role in the game other than to provide this kind of semi.
I think the end credits or like the post final boss.
Yeah,
scene
that's a little too late
well
for me, unfortunately. But
not really, because you kind of have to return the game anyway if you want to get all 120 stars after beating Bowser. So I think it. I think it ties in pretty well.
Yeah, and Galaxy 2 doesn't have much as far as that goes. But what Galaxy 2 does have, I think, is an increased difficulty on Galaxy 1, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Galaxy 2 is, you could say it's like, it's hard to judge whether something's more difficult, but like it's sometimes hard to judge that. But I think you can pretty definitely say that Galaxy 2 is harder. It is longer, but the galaxies themselves and the secret stars are actually like a lot more difficult. And
Yeah.
like it's not that Galaxy 1 was easy, but Galaxy 2 was a real challenge, and Nintendo kind of realized like, hey, if people are going to play this again, they're probably going to play Galaxy 1 and they're going to want to play, they're going to be used to the controls. And that's, and let's revamp the levels and make them harder. And that's something I appreciate about Galaxy 2, because Galaxy 1 feels, a lot of the levels feel like, if I die, it's the game's fault, and it's the game's fault, and the levels being unfair. Galaxy 2 gives, I think, a fairer balance of difficulty. Something I can like picture in Galaxy 1 is definitely something like Honey Climb, because
Honey Climb.
That is a super with the bees. It's there's a good amount of levels that just feel super unfair, whereas Galaxy 2 gives a kind of more even challenge.
Yeah, there are still a bunch of jank galaxies in Galaxy 2. They're like the freaking Chomp Works, like the gold Chomp with the shadow
clones.
The Mario clones is terrible. It's awful.
Yeah, I think it's like less. I think it's just really hard and precise.
Yeah.
To me, it feels less unfair. But
maybe. Something I do appreciate about Galaxy 1 though, as far as like the way that the pacing works, is that I like how Galaxy 1 separates its stars out, more similarly to how Mario 64 and Sunshine do. There are two kind of tiers of galaxy in Galaxy 1. There's the major galaxies, which have like 6 stars. I think Dusty Dune has 7. And then the experimental secret galaxies, which only have 1 star. And I like this because you really get to know the major galaxies better, and you feel the progression, which is something you don't get to do in Galaxy 2, because every single galaxy in Galaxy 2 before the green stars has either 2 or 3. And so that means that even if there's a dud galaxy in Galaxy 2, you have to go back for a comet medal, even if you didn't, or like a comet star rather, even if you didn't really enjoy.
Not always.
Every yes, you do. Every single.
If you're getting all the
has,
stars.
Well, yeah, if you're getting all the stars, I'm talking about like 100%.
Yeah.
So. Okay. I'd say Galaxy 2 kind of leads to a more fragmented feel, because you don't really spend that much time on any one galaxy. It makes it feel more linear, more like jumping between levels rather than really, much like Mario 64 and Sunshine. You really like play the same level again. You get to know it better. You get to feel like you're more in its world, I guess.
Yeah, Galaxy 2 is interesting like that, because it does feel like you're jumping from level to level. And to me, it feels like a 2D Mario game, as far as you've got the same world map select, you've got the same going from left to right. But I don't think that's any worse, because Galaxy 1, this is a problem I have with the 3D games, Mario games in general, is you get this world and you play the same world for like, if you're casually playing it, you want to get all the stars, you play the same one for 2 hours or like an hour and a half, and it's like at that point the music gets a little old. The level design has less of an effect on you. But if you're just jumping from one level to a level, it kind of depends on how much attention span you have. And I don't have a short attention span, but I still appreciate getting to see a galaxy and then getting to see another one right after just getting a few stars. I guess that can come down to preference, and I don't think there's really inherently anything bad about spending time in the same world. I think that's fine, but I think it kind of comes down to preference.
Yeah, that is true. But one thing that Galaxy 2 does offer that I personally didn't enjoy very much was the comet medals. They're mostly inoffensive. Usually they're really easy to find, but they're kind of like a half-baked imitation of star coins. And given how each star in Galaxy 2 is generally pretty long, if you miss the comet medal just because you like didn't see it in one area, and you can't go back either in most areas of Galaxy 2, you have to play through the entire star and like scour it And usually once you've beaten a star, you don't want to do the exact same star again. But if you just happen to miss the comet medal and you're going for 100%, too bad. Whereas with Galaxy 1, although the comet cycle can be a little bit annoying for speedrunners, generally it's going to work out pretty well casually, and that's pretty much. And if you don't like where the comets are, you can always move them.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wasn't a big fan of comet medals, but I think it did add a little bit of collectiveness, but I don't love how they're designed. Because they're not in every single level. That's something about Sunshine Blue coins that's kind of annoying. But yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't know how the comets worked in Mario Galaxy 1 at all, and I would just never mess around with them, and I had no idea how they worked. So when I was like trying to get 120 stars, there were just no comets, and I'm like, oh well, what do I do? At least in Galaxy 2, there's a concrete way to get the comet to come. Is to get a
sort of, though, because
comet medal.
You get the comet medal, but then it doesn't show up right away. You have to wait
it doesn't show up right away, but at least there's something you can do in the meantime, because sometimes there are a few times where I just needed comets in Galaxy 1, but there were none, so I just have to go into a star, do it over again, and wait for the comet to come back, and that was kind of annoying. But yes, I'll agree that the comet medals weren't the best.
Yeah. A couple minor things in addition. So first off, one thing that Galaxy 1 has going for it is that Gusty Garden Galaxy is probably the single greatest tune Nintendo's ever published. I think it is. It is a true masterpiece. And Galaxy 2, I really enjoy the music in Galaxy 2 as well. I think that both Galaxies have incredible music, but Galaxy 2 does reuse some of Galaxy 1's music, and while it has a lot of new tracks, I think that outside of, Sky Station is really good, but there aren't as many incredible smash hit, well, not really smash hit, but masterpieces, I guess, as Galaxy 1 offered.
I'll agree. Yeah, Gusty Garden was great. And there's a lot that I love in Galaxy 1,
Space Junk.
Yeah, Space Junk. I was trying to think of the Space Junk, and one other I'm trying to think of, but there's a lot of great tracks. But there's also ones in Galaxy 2 I love, like Slimy Spring is really great.
Slimy Spring's kind of depressing, but I will agree with you. It is.
Yeah,
it's chill.
And I think Mario Galaxy 1 does offer some cool space music. I think it gives a spacey vibe. But something like Galaxy 1 has probably half the galaxies that Galaxy 2 has. So I think it was less imperative for each Galaxy 2 one to stand out as much.
Actually, I don't know about that. I think it actually ends up being about the same number of galaxies. You just because Galaxy 1 does have a lot of minor galaxies in it. It's a little bit more I maybe Galaxy 2 is a little bit more with World S, but I think it's reasonably close.
I think as far as Galaxy 1 goes, there was more of there were fewer things to make music for, because you have bigger worlds, so there's more imperative to make each one stand out. But Galaxy 2, I think the music's really upbeat. I like the upbeatness.
Yeah.
Stuff like Throwback is a great remix.
Throwback is great, yeah.
Super massive. I think it's hard to say which is better. But the Galaxy 2 music works just fine for me. Galaxy 1 music is all time great, but the Galaxy 2 music does its job very well.
I will not disagree at all. The Galaxy 2's music is phenomenal. And a couple more things. A minor benefit, but 6 save files in Galaxy 1 versus 3 in Galaxy 2. It's a nice quality of life change.
Totally.
That they kept the 6 save files in Galaxy 1, especially with more than one person on the console, or if you want to do multiple playthroughs. 3 isn't really limiting, but you might have to get rid of a couple of them now and then.
Agreed. Also Bank Toad in Galaxy 2. I was going to bring that up.
That is true.
I was going to bring that up. Galaxy 1 is extremely starbit grindy. Yeah. Galaxy 2
also extremely starbit grindy the first time.
Yeah, if you're playing through it again, you can use Bank Toad. If you're playing with someone else, you can use Bank Toad.
Yeah. Yeah, all good additions on the whole. So I think that we should probably wrap things up.
Was that
with
time?
Our,
That was nice.
not quite time, but I think I could
Okay.
sense that we were kind
We
of
can wrap it up.
reaching a
Man,
conclusion
I
here.
don't
So,
know how much more bad stuff I can say.
yeah,
about
it's
Galaxy
really
1.
it's hard to find the
So
flaws in
difficult.
either game. But I guess I'll do my closing statement first. You can do yours after. So Super Mario Galaxy, I think, truly was the game that set the stage for what a Wii game could be. It has beautiful graphics, even with the comparatively weaker hardware. It has intuitive motion controls and truly unbelievably polished gameplay, in my opinion. I think it was them putting their best foot forward for sure. And it was, at the time in 2007 when the Wii came out, people were kind of unsure of how successful the Wii would be. And it ended up being one of Nintendo's best-selling consoles of all time. I think it may be the best-selling console of all time, other than DS, but that's a
home
handheld
console.
Yeah. And without a masterpiece like Galaxy 1 starting things off strong, it would be hard. It would be hard to believe that it would do as well.
Yeah, and Galaxy 2 basically took what Galaxy 1 did and did it better, and with no like, it's the perfect sequel. It brought everything to a new world with new characters, but didn't take anything away from what made the first game fun. But the level design is much improved. The difficulty is raised, and the end game is much more satisfying than the original. And like, not many people thought they could make Galaxy 1 better, but after Galaxy 2 they're like, okay, this is as good or better, which was really hard to do, especially because a lot of people have nostalgic don't want to be crass, but nostalgia hard-ons for Galaxy 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
All said. I think that was probably one of the more difficult debates to do, because as you said during it, it's hard to find flaws in either game for sure. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Definitely make sure to vote in the Twitter poll as well. Always on Switchmaster's Twitter at Saltmaster64. Yeah, good.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.